Member for Drysdale.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. And Madam Speaker, it amazes me that the opposition still cling to this ideology. We heard about homelessness. I have homelessness occurring in Drysdale from working families who have had to sell their property to get out. They just cannot handle how bad the behaviour has gotten and are now living in temporary accommodation. They've had to sell at massively reduced prices, and they are now looking to re-enter the market somewhere else, and they will have less money in their pocket to do so. As I have started this journey, even when I was campaigning, I quickly learnt throughout the entire electorate, housing is a major issue in every suburb. I have endless examples, and the examples are truly, they are horrific. I have horrific cases occurring in Drysdale. I have some properties where we've had violent crime almost on a weekly basis, and it's been ongoing for 2.5 years. And then the tenant before that, at this particular address, they had the same problems for 6 years. And so we have residents who are just living in an absolute nightmare. Home has not been a place of retreat. Home has only been a place of suffering for a very long time. I'm currently a nurse has come to me, and she is living next to a housing tenant who blasts loud music and drinks almost every single night. And she has to get up and go to the hospital where she serves NT patients, and that is what she is dealing with every night. I hear the same thing from teachers. It is just across the board. And so when I speak today, I look at how did we actually get to this point? How did it get to a point in Drysdale where we have the foundation for a beautiful suburb? We have large blocks in Driver and Grey, large open spaces, mature greenery, amazing primary schools, and it's right next to the CBD. The electorate of Drysdale, families should be pushing over each other to get into that market, and we should be seeing nice house growth in their prices, but we're seeing the exact opposite. And because of that, we're all poorer, and we have, because of policy, long-term policy has created ghettos, and that is simply it. I have 17.1% of public housing in the Greater Darwin region in my electorate, and it is concentrated mainly in Grey and Southern Driver. And so I have many residents who bought there. They are good families who have worked, paid their taxes, and now they are surrounded in just chaos and are now dealing with the fact that they are looking at retirement and have had no return on their nest egg being their home. I also have the crushing effect this has on so many housing tenants. The amount of tenants that come to my office weekly requesting a transfer out of Drysdale because of these problems. They want to go to a suburb where there won't be alcohol, drug use, screaming, fighting. I've driven around whilst doing my electorate rounds. The amount of times I've called 000, I've actually lost count of. It would be so immense as I drive around and I see people fighting with machetes, I see open drug use, open partying. Yes, it beggars belief how we got here. And so we have vulnerable tenants throughout housing. I have a lot of young women who have families who do not feel safe. They simply do not feel safe in their house. They deserve to feel safe in their public housing home. It's having an effect on residents who are both renting and owners. And in Grey particularly, I have Sin City, which is a large complex, and I'll use its colloquial name because that is what it is referred to by everybody, including those that live there. This is 62 apartments right across from a primary school where I believe it was last year we had over 1,300 reports to police. That is so immense. Multiple times a day, police are being called to that tenant block. It'll be a good day in Drysdale, Madam Speaker, when a wrecking ball goes through Sin City. In Southern Driver, I had a single mum recently just have to leave. She couldn't put up with it. She had been in housing, she got a job, and was then very proud to start privately renting for her and her children. After 12 months, Madam Speaker, she's had to leave. And so here's a young woman trying to get ahead in life, and because of poor public planning under Labor's 19 years of this century, they have just destroyed our community. Madam Speaker, we have a strong need for housing in Drysdale. It's immense, and I want to be giving people a house so they can be safe, so they can raise their children. I have an immense amount of single mums that come in and families, and I hate to say that they're on an 8 to 10 year wait list. And that is why I support these reforms. In the short term, Madam Speaker, I do want hard rules. I do want hard rules because it is a minority that are causing these problems. As I've said, majority of my housing tenants themselves want these reforms. And that's how I know we're doing the right thing, because they are telling me they want the reforms. They want to be safe in their neighbourhood. They don't want their kids seeing this stuff when they go to school each morning. They are trying to get ahead in life, and I'm going to support them get ahead in life, Madam Speaker. In the long term, we heard about we're only using the stick. Well, I do believe in the carrot and the stick, and I don't have an issue using the stick, Madam Speaker, but I will also back any measure for incentives. I would love to see home ownership a reality for good and long-term tenants, and I would support measures into the future so that public housing tenants who look after their home, they look after the community and engage, have a path to home ownership. I also want more land releases and developments with new and dispersed housing models to increase the supply. And this way, when we increase the supply in a dispersed, new, well-planned model, we can then lower the supply in ghettos that Labor has created in Drysdale. And I would like to see that through selling off of old stock, Madam Speaker, and have a better spread and dispersed model. I believe in investing in affordable housing, and I think this is something we could do with selling of old stock, and something that would work well in Drysdale is affordable housing. We've spoken of visitor management, and I do think that our government, and we will look to any measure, can look at how we can information share across different agencies and departments so that the people in Drysdale, when reporting issues, can have a smoother streamline. However, instead of focusing on the reporting, Madam Speaker, our government will hit the cause. If you're going to cause problems in Drysdale, you will not get to hold on to your home. If you are a good tenant, we will want to reward you, Madam Speaker. And as we go through, there are some protections which our government is very mindful of. It has become very clear to me that especially young women are particularly vulnerable in the electorate. And it is something that myself and the Minister are acutely aware of, that you can have a young mum and she may have visitors come in from community and have no say in that, in the use of her property. And that is something myself and the Minister are very aware of, and we will look to also protect vulnerable people in the community. So, I've run out of time, Madam Speaker, but I'm very pleased to hear the Minister's report and support him fully. Thank you, Madam Speaker.